3 North Medina, about to walk in and pick up some public information act. That's the Texas Public Information Act stuff that I requested. Of course, it's frustrating. The guards' personal cell phones pictures that she took, etc. They say, "Oh, no such record exists," even though we know that she did take that. I have it on video, but that goes into a misconduct report now to their police department, since she either deleted it or for whatever reason those records no longer exist. And again, when people choose to use their phones, security and police officers who choose to use their phones in the line of duty, they know that it has become public record, and you tell them that when they choose to delete it, they need to be disciplined for that. And I'll take those steps. It's like I told her, I said, I don't care that she stole me. What I care about is that she had a body camera that she could have turned on and used that makes it easy for someone to get access to. Instead, she chose to sneak around with her cell phone taking pictures, and then when you ask for that from the state, they say, "Oh, no such record exists." So I'm going to turn my camera around, go pick up what I do get from them. They were good about it, and people have to understand they have a reasonable time to get you this information. It can be expensive. It can be intimidating. Mr. Scheidt with Tpia, he's the public information officer, was very polite and courteous with me. We exchanged a couple of emails regarding things, and I got an email this morning, actually probably about 30 minutes ago, saying my information was down here. So I walked down here to pick up the information, and now I'm going to turn my camera on. Good morning, AJ. Down at Tpia, in case you didn't realize. I'm going to go pick up that information. Again, I was advised by Mr. Scheidt to come down here and pick up the information. So, it's one of those things that's frustrating as an activist. So. Public Information Act is up here. Good morning. I'm doing good. Mr. Scheidt should have left you a package for me. My name's Reese.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Take this off.
What's the first name?
Tory, Tory. So, again, their choice. I'll walk back. Thank you. I'm going to film real quick, and I'll be right out of here.
Let me check the temperature.
Oh, yes, sir. Sorry. We got a little bit preoccupied there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you, Officer Curtis. So Officer Curtis just took my temperature. That's required. You see an executive came in. All that upstairs is for their executives. And again, you remember I came in here before and was told I couldn't go back here, couldn't use the water fountain, couldn't do all that. And remember, I said they would put up a temporary sign the next day. And they did. And when they did that, that was their choice. Now, here's a change machine, and the change machine is important for the public because if you get on a bus without exact change, you don't get your money back. They used to have other things. Now, you see, they put up this sign restricting that, which is where it should have been to start with. And I acknowledged that from before. Again, the guard saying these vending machines are restricted, the water machine, all that was BS. I called them on it. They pushed it. I sent what I needed to get sent up to make sure that everything was okay. Maybe you can answer a question for me, Officer Curtis. I know that we covered this before. Last week you had a temporary sign up here, and now they've moved it to where it needs to go, blocking the stairways. You as a guard, were you informed that the public water fountain and the maps over there are public, part of the public lobby now? Okay, so they did inform you of that. Okay, I appreciate that because that's one of the things that I follow up on. And that came from your supervisor, or did that come from one of the administrators down here?
Once they put the sign over there, they needed.
Okay, so when you realized that they decided to move the sign where it actually belonged, you're aware of that. Okay, thank you. Well, I asked that for a specific reason. Remember the day I had Sergeant Poor come down here and we discussed the signs and the lack of signs, like the sign over here. Remember I was talking about the gun signs and that they couldn't have those gun signs there unless they made that a restricted area. And they put up the restricted area sign. Now, they took one of those and moved it over there. Either way, as a rights activist, we want to make sure VIA is doing what they need to do. And again, I think if you remember the day that I came down here, you were very polite, professional. You just didn't know, and that's why I had the supervisor come down here. But 2 weeks ago when I came in here, another guard had told me I can't use the fountain, can't use all that. I'm like, you're wrong. Please contact Sergeant Poor. We've been through this. And they're like, no, you can't go back there. And I'm like, look at all the restricted signs. Don't you think they have one? And I mean, like you said, yeah, if it's up, that's obvious. So again, that's part of why I do what I do, not only to make everyone else's job easier, but so that you're aware of it. So I'm going to get out of here. I got what I need. Appreciate it. If you see Mr. Scheidt, tell him I said thank you. I sent him an email already. But, you know, as a rights activist, what we do here by coming out and filming, we're not out here to give you guys a hard time. We're out here to make sure that people understand they have their rights and that our rights shouldn't be infringed, and that often it's a problem with communication. And that's why I asked you, did somebody tell you that, or how did you figure out that that's no longer quote unquote restricted? Because it never should have been restricted, but a guard decided, I'm going to move the sign over here to restrict it. And that guard doesn't have the authority to do that. I mean, you can't just pick up that sign and move it over here and say, oh, it's restricted now. And again, that's the same when I said those signs over there. Those signs are posted, but they're not legal if that's not a restricted area. And VIA did what they needed to do, and I brought that up because other people who do similar things to what I do, they will sue. I'm glad I'll let you finish your job. Do I need to sign out? Okay, thank you, Officer Curtis. So again, I've got what I needed here, and I'm out of here. You know, VIA plays games. I told them very specifically, I knew the day Sergeant Martinez said, well, I don't know if it's restricted. And I said, you know it's not restricted. Or there'd be a sign up there. And he said, well, I'm not going to let you go back there anyway, which again restricted my right to film there. And I said it, I called it perfectly. I said, tomorrow they're going to move a temporary sign back there blocking that area. And sure enough, when I came by to get my Freedom of Information request, I went back there and have the video where they moved the temporary sign. And again, that's a guard doing what the guard thinks. Oh, well, if I just move this here, it makes it legal. And it did not make it legal. The guard still unlawfully restricted my right to film in a public lobby. Her police supervisor, Sergeant Martinez, then backed her actions. And again, these are things we don't want. These are things we expect our public servants to be accountable to the public. And, you know, they expect us to be good citizens and to follow the rules. But the fact is, they don't follow their own rules. And when we bring that up to them, they get bent or hurt instead of just correcting the activities or actions and doing the right thing. So again, it's frustrating being down here with VIA once again. The information I have here is actually for a criminal case. I'm not going to disclose everything that's on it right now, but you know, when you're a rights activist, you're going to have issues. And if you don't follow up on those issues and push and make sure that those issues get corrected, then there's a problem. I mean, it's you know, we can come out here and film these guys all day long, but if we're not correcting the behaviors, or at least bringing the behavior up to the attention of people who need to be aware of it so that they can correct it, then we're not really doing anything but getting YouTube views and educating people on their rights, which is important. But we also need to make sure that we're out here for the right reasons, and that's making change. Again, you can't change a dirty cop's mind. You can give them all the information they want. They'll twist it, they'll use it, they'll abuse it. Officer Alvarez and Sergeant Martinez both knew I was absolutely correct. I could go back to the vending machine. I could go use that public restroom. I could use the water fountain. They have restrooms on the first floor that are restricted. They're marked. Those are obviously for the employees. The public restroom, though, for them to sit there and tell people, we don't want to let you use it because we just don't want to. Again, that's a guard issue, and it needs to be corrected. So I'm going to cut my live feed short, guys. I'm going to head into downtown for a little while after I get other things done, so hopefully I won't have to go live again today. But if I do, just know 9 times out of 10 what I'm doing is just documenting. Nothing wrong with that. Appreciate everyone for viewing. Please leave your comments, and this should get posted up for other comments in a little while. Again, thank you guys for watching and staying with me.